we are launching the drones up in the sky as of right now in New Jersey and stuff, in Texas, everywhere. Like, y'all don't gotta be afraid. Them are man-made drones, and we're doing the launching or whatever. Now, what you do have to be concerned of, my bad, my eye, but it's the orbs that's inside the sky that y'all see that's glowing and stuff, that's shooting down the drones and all that. That's not a part of us. Them are actually real life aliens. Like, aliens do exist. They're above and they're below us. Yes, they do exist. And 2025 there will be a lot more of exposing the truth. Now, I can't say the reason why, but because it's already out here, so I can speak on this. Aliens are real, and we will have to evacuate sooner than later. But just be careful, keep looking up in the sky.
The government's not concerned because they know exactly what's happening. That's why there's not shooting them down. That's why they're not scrambling jets. That's why they're not doing all these things that Trump's asking why they're doing this thing. If you knew something was coming, if you knew that these things that you're seeing floating in the sky that are a clear circle with a black square inside of it, and they can hover at 120 knots completely still, which doesn't even make any sense, no heat signature, what the fuck is that? And what if a bunch of them are coming? Well, put a bunch of shit in the sky. Freak these dummies out. That's what I would do. I would get all of our best drones and just fly them around. Hover over cities. Hover over LaGuardia. Hover over the White House. Who gives a fuck? Just get people weirded out and get them accustomed to UFOs.
We got a situation going on right now in New Jersey with all these drones. What the hell do you think these drones are?
I mean, if it's not ours, then it's really incompetent, right?
Yeah.
If this is not ours, if this is ours, then it's also kind of weird. Like, why are we doing this and freaking people out? But if it's not ours, what the heck, man?
It was like 2 years ago, we're freaking out about a spy balloon traversing the United States from Washington all the way down to South Carolina.
I got a good answer on that. I'm sure it's public by now, but I think because of the fact that we let it stay up, we were able to hack into it, trace back where the data was going, find out a lot about the Chinese. And so it turned out in that case, it made sense. And it turned out that Xi Jinping didn't even know his underlings had put this spy balloon up and we're doing it. And it was actually bad for China because we used it to hack in. So I think in that case, there's like a competent answer, which makes you feel good that there's like not totally incompetent people. Like, they met with Biden, they said what they're going to do. He agreed to let them do it. And that was fine. So hopefully there's a competent answer for these drones, but it's a weird thing, man.
Why wouldn't they fly this over like Area 51 or some testing grounds?
You know what I found out about government, man, is that there are some really great people. There's some amazing special forces guys. Every once in a while on the DOD, you'll have this like genius person in the strategy group, and then the vast majority of them are incompetent. I'm hoping they're ours, because if they're not ours, that's actually a little bit scary, and it's really incompetent that we're not doing something.
The founder of the Disclosure Project, Dr. Stephen Greer. Dr. Greer, it is great to have you on. A pleasure to be speaking with you right now.
Thank you.
What is going on out there? What are people seeing?
Well, it's a complex story that make it very succinct. We did predict this 30 years ago, that they would begin to launch some activity equivalent to a false flag to make it look like there's some sort of alien attack or threat. In reality, it's a response to what's happening. And I've recently told the incoming members of the administration this, and people at the Senate Intelligence and Armed Services Committee, that we have a team of about 6 different black sites that have been running illegal projects related to so-called UAPs and UFOs coming forward in the next 30 days or so. They will bring forth dispositive evidence of this and the fact that these programs have been run illegally and outside of constitutional oversight. This is a ramp up to divert attention from that activity and could lead to some other events that would be catastrophic. This is a very dangerous situation. Nothing people are seeing has anything to do with aliens or extraterrestrial intelligence. It has to do with trying to maintain the cover-up on a secret program that went black, but illegal black, back in the late 1950s. So we're into 65, 70 years of some very dangerous operations. Now, these men that are defecting are coming out of some sites I've been at. I was in a helicopter last year, which after that I was almost killed, frankly. And we were over these black sites and saw the openings that go into underground facilities where there are the man-made UFOs that come out, but also where they have illegal electromagnetic pulse weapons where they target and down the extraterrestrial vehicles that are then reverse engineered.
Okay, let me stop you. Let me stop you right there, Dr. Greer. Let me stop just because I want everyone at home I want us all to be on the same page. You're saying that we have the technology to shoot ET craft, not of this planet, out of the air, and we are reverse engineering those aircraft.
100%, and there are multiple men coming forward. They've been with JSOC and Special Forces, who are also NOx, an unofficial cover in corporate world. One of them's been there about 29 years and is very senior and has all the evidence, and they'll be releasing the evidence and the information. Now, this creates a dynamic because it's happening before the inauguration. They plan to do it sometime between now and early January. And I've been working with these men for about 19 months, and they're serious, and they have the goods. They can prove what they're stating, but they're also going to unmask themselves. They will come forward, the name, rank, serial number, and the whole history of this, including the illegal nature of some of these programs, which we don't have time to go into, but they'll curl your toes, some of the stuff that's been going on. It's quite illegal and very dangerous and horrible. But the technologies, I mean, remember the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty requires that we have no electromagnetic pulse weapons.
Could you give me, Dr. Greer, could you give us a quick summary? I'd like to hear some of the toe-curling details, if you wouldn't mind.
Well, for example, they have been able to confirm one of our whistleblowers' testimony, who's a Marine, Michael Herrera, who was present at an event, stumbled across an event during a rescue mission after the Indonesian earthquake in 2009. And he came across a platform, a man-made object, about 300 feet around that was manned by covert human operators who were American. And they had boxed up and crated up humans that they were trafficking that had oxygen tanks on this tank. And they were being moved to a black site for various types of human experimentation and use. It's horrific, some of the actions. The main operator from two of these black sites that I've been at, I will not discuss where they are right now.
Okay.
It'll be disclosed fairly soon. He actually had personal knowledge of that. So when this whistleblower came forward, who was taken to the Pentagon Aero Office and Senate Intelligence Committee, he approached me and confirmed all of it. And so he said, not only that, but it's way worse than that. So there are some really worrisome programs going on without the oversight of the president or the Congress, and that has to get corrected because it's dangerous. Now, all these drones and everything going on is both a diversion, but an attempt to create a psychological warfare,
a psyop, to distract us.
And that's really what it is, but it could escalate to something very dangerous.
Like, how are you fitting 50 suburban-sized drones on a ship? And you're maintaining them on that ship? Are you charging them on that ship? Like, what kind of an energy source are they using? How are they up in the sky for 5 hours? How do they go 50 miles out to sea to wherever the fuck this thing is that they're launching from? Are they transmedium? That means, do you have a craft that's able to go into the water? And is there something in the water that's launching them? Do you have a giant military base under the water that I don't know about? Like, or does someone else have some sort of an enormous fucking underwater submarine that's capable of holding these things on it, and we don't know it's there? That's terrifying too. So is it ours?
Someone's got to know.
Someone has to know.
Someone knows. And now it's not maybe someone that you've spoken to, but there's someone somewhere that's got to know.
I bet it's very, very high up on the
We're talking about like the Men in Black, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not even one of the agencies. Like, we've all heard of like the CIA, the NSA. This is probably like, one smart guy told me once, he goes, I go, what's the highest up? I was like, the CIA, and he laughed, and I go, why are you saying that? He goes, you are saying they're the highest up, but he goes, you've heard of them. He goes, the deepest stuff is you don't even know. You've never heard of it. Jeez. The deepest stuff you've never heard of. He goes, you know what the CIA is, you know what the NSA is. He goes, there are things you have no idea what they are. So I don't know what's going on.
I genuinely hope it's UFOs.
I hope it's UFOs because maybe they're coming to help us.
Or stop us.
And put the Costco family in jail.
Stop us.
Stop us from the nuclear war.
Yeah, stop us.
Maybe if China and us are about to have a nuclear war and these aliens have landed and they're like, cut it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Like an adult showing up at the playground when two kids are about to fight. Like, hey.
Yeah.
Settle the fuck down.
Settle it down.
This is so stupid. And you guys are lying about why you're doing this in the first place.
Right.
I think that if I was an alien race and I wanted people to get accustomed to the idea that they're being visited, I would do this. I would do exactly what they're doing. I'd have things that behave like drones, and they hover over the sky for a preposterous amount of time, way more than our drones can do. No heat signature, but they still move and behave like drones, and they're not doing anything, so we assume they're drones. So you get people comfortable with the idea of things in the sky all the time. Then you make them a little more complex. You have a few of them that come by that don't make any sense.
This is over New Jersey. Does that look like some sort of any kind of a drone that you've ever seen before? Well, the problem is we don't know because no one's telling us. And even in front of Congress, they're not. So that even looks like biblical drawings, like a wheel within a wheel, like Ezekiel, right?
You are in Tennessee, so you're in a different area where we haven't heard as much about this. Tell us about your sighting.
Yeah, mine's different than your all's. Mine's a lot different. Mine don't look like what you're showing there at all. These things are round. The ones that I saw were round. And they've got this ring around them. And around the ring, it's got little lights on it, and the light is spinning.
But are you sure it wasn't a plane, Scott? Because sometimes it's hard to tell.
Positive. I think all three of your guests tonight, we're all professional observers. And that's one of the things that we check out. What does it sound like? What does it look like? What is it doing? What does it sound like? And that had no sound at all. And there were, at one point, there were five after I saw this one, and there were three up in the by themselves, and there were two ahead of it that came past those. And then as they went on, the other three started following that one. Then they split up, and then I got video of where there's one there in different sections of the front yard and the backyard.
These are not U.S. military drones. Again, this is being investigated by local law enforcement. What our initial assessment here is that these are not drones or activities coming from a foreign entity or adversary.
From the Coast Guard, who said that one of their 47-foot motor lifeboats was followed by between 12 and 30 of these drones as they went through the water.
These are 6-foot drones that are somehow evading our detection. They are not being detected.
One family claims they followed a drone in their car, and while it hovered above them, the clock in their car changed times.
Some of the FBI agents that have been assigned to look into this.
I put my drone up in the air and went towards it. I had full battery life. Not 3 minutes into the flight, I lost control of the drone.
We're concerned about it too, which is why we have the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI. My goodness, looking at this, and we're taking it seriously.
We're hunting for drones with drones here in Ocean County, New Jersey, which has been at the epicenter of this drone sighting frenzy. In fact, Sheriff Sargent is here flying a drone right now. But I want to show you some of the technology that they're using here to try and track drones in real time. Even though the federal government has said that most of these drone sightings in New Jersey and beyond have not actually been drones, but really have been airplanes or helicopters. The Sheriff's Department here actually says that they have seen drones fly off the Atlantic Ocean back there, and that has led them to trying to chase them in some cases. This is their county command center that they typically use for homicides, but inside here, they have a really intense setup. They essentially put in live flight tracking data on these screens, and as well as live cameras to try and figure out if they're really aircraft or really drones. They think the truth is actually out there, and there have been legitimate drone sightings here in New Jersey.
The FAA has issued a month-long ban on flying drones in parts of New Jersey for security reasons. After weeks of unexplained drone sightings, the regulator is banning unmanned aircraft from flying over what they call critical infrastructure across swaths of the state. The FAA said it issued the temporary restrictions at the request of federal security officials. They are in effect until January 17th. The Department of Homeland Security said that critical infrastructure partners had requested the restrictions over their facilities, but had no evidence that the drones posed a threat. But we are still weeks into this, saying we're not really sure what it is, but it's safe. Don't worry. At least that's what we're being told.
I don't know what we're supposed to think.
No.
There are now hundreds, maybe even thousands of credible accounts. There's plenty of videos, plenty of pictures showing these very large, very sophisticated objects flying at very low altitudes over the U.S. In fact, New Jersey Senator Andy Kim went with local law enforcement last night. He filmed it himself. He put it on X. Quote, we saw a few that looked like they were moving in small clusters of 2 to 4. Now, we clearly saw several that would move horizontally and then immediately switch back in the opposite direction in maneuvers that planes just can't do. Then he continued, quote, officers said that they tried to get a closer, look with a helicopter, but that the drones would turn off their lights and go dark if approached. Even, well, he's not the smartest guy in the world, but even their governor in New Jersey finally reached out to the Biden administration and demanded more concrete information. The first sighting was November the 18th, but so far the Biden White House is still pretending not to have any answers at all whatsoever, and even suggested that nothing is actually happening. Make no mistake.
964 sightings of SUV-sized drones have been recorded across New Jersey, some of which have even been over critical military infrastructure. This heat map shared with us by local police highlights the shocking true scale of the mysterious drone activity across the Garden State. The drones have caused widespread concern across the nation as the government fails to provide any concrete answers.
Explanations with all those drones over New Jersey. What's behind all of that?
Nothing nefarious apparently, but they're checking it all out. I think it's just one. There's a lot of drones authorized to be up there. I think one started and they all got it. Everybody's wanting to get in the deal. But we're following the chief posted. So far, no sense of the danger.